What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 7 of the Heat Check Podcast. We got a lot to get into, as always. I'm your host, Brett, co-host over here, Joey. Sadly, we got a lot of news, and it's not for the good reasons. Very eventful week in the NFL, but there were some damn good games. NBA is starting to get closer and closer to the finals. MVP was announced. So, let's start off with the NBA. Heat and C's lead 2-1. How do you see that series in and out?
I think if we can take this next one, I think we'll win it. But if whoever wins this next game, I think is the winner of this series.
Yeah, I feel
we'll
like
have big moments on this next one.
Yeah. And then LA, Denver, crazy ending to last game. Anthony Davis had a game-winning 3 to lead 2-0. Really great game. I feel like everyone feels the Lakers are going to go to the finals this year. It's been like that from the start. Even though I thought I wanted the Clippers to go, seems like now that the Clippers are out, Lakers are definitely going in there. They're on a roll right now. And speaking of being on a roll, 2 years in a row, Giannis is named MVP, the third player in history to be named MVP and defensive player of the year in the same season. I think the only company is Michael Jordan, and I think the other one is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I might be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure it's Kareem and Michael. But honestly, it is a great accomplishment. Like, if you think Giannis was like Westbrook and had one MVP season and dipped, you're wrong. With the accolades that this guy is ranking up, I can't believe LeBron is trying to complain of the fact that he didn't get enough attention, because LeBron, you had a great team, but you also had Anthony Davis on your team. And of course, you're going to have more assists. You're a 6'9" point guard for most of the season. And you want to sit up there and cry? Giannis is up there. If he would have lost it, he would have been like, LeBron played great. I'll play like an insane freak again next season. But LeBron just sits there.
Sportsman-like.
Exactly. LeBron, like, as no matter how many times you can be like, oh, I don't mean no disrespect or anything. News has just came in from Adrian Wojnarowski, however the hell you say it. Billy Donovan is going to be the next head coach of the Chicago Bulls.
Wow, you called it.
Oh, holy. I did call it. Good for the Bulls, man. Good for the Bulls. Like I said previously, sorry to get off track here, but like I said previously, Donovan's going to be, if they ended up signing him, and they did, Donovan's going to be a great coach. He's going to be a terrific coach, in my opinion, for them. With as much young talent as there, it's going to be a playground for him. I feel like Chicago can make, I don't know how high they can get, but knowing how far he took OKC, I wouldn't be surprised if Chicago slips into the 7th, maybe 6th seed. But, who knows? Hopefully Donovan works out for them. But, yeah, back on track. Giannis is, he's paved the way to have a great career. And honestly, just an amazing career. All he needs to do is get him some rings. And I don't want to be the guy to start overreacting, but Giannis could be top 10. Honestly.
All time?
Honestly. If he racks up 2 or 3 rings, hell, I think 2 is enough for him at this point, because especially with the accolade he just achieved. 2 or 3 rings, people were talking about Kawhi Leonard being top 5 of all time because the defensive player of the years, finals MVPs, and he's had a great career. I wouldn't call him top 5.
And Giannis is still young. He's still very young.
Exactly.
He has a lot of
He is
time
this young. He is this young and has won back-to-back MVPs, defensive player of the years in that same season. Honestly, I really wouldn't be surprised if Giannis ends up shaping out to be a top 10 player. Definitely probably the second best small forward of all time behind LeBron. At this point, with how fast he is progressing, I would rank him higher than Kevin Durant.
I'm not saying that yet. You guys know how much I like Kevin Durant. But he definitely could. He definitely could. If he keeps this up.
He really is going insane. And I can't believe we got that live. But Donovan really is going to – I really do feel like I said, I explained it in the last podcast when we talked about Donovan after he had just got released. I think he's going to be a great coach. Now the only guy we need to keep an eye on is Mike D'Antoni. We'll see where D'Antoni ends up going to. But, not a lot coming out of the NBA, not a lot of drama. But let's get into the NFL. Week 2, very exciting week 2 when it comes to games. But let's get into the real sadness about it.
Start with the bad news. Yeah.
Start with the bad news. Injuries. There was a total of 51 players injured yesterday. most of them coming from the 1 o'clock slot of games. Saquon Barkley, Nick Bosa, Solomon Thomas, and Cortland Sutton all tore their ACL yesterday. Also, Anthony Barr, torn pectoral muscle. He's having surgery that is going to take him out for the year. CMC, ankle. Byron Jones, groin. Cam Akers, rib. Sterling Shepard also out there. Jimmy G. That seems to be probably the most mild one out of all of these. He's day-to-day, week-to-week, however they want to say it. Paris Campbell looks like he'll probably be out for the year. It's a knee injury. Those aren't usually good. Malik Hooker, upcoming safety for the Colts, tore his Achilles yesterday. Drew Lock, I think it was 3 to 4 weeks. Devontae Adams, they don't really know the time slot on that. And then Tevin Coleman. So it really is next man up for almost every single team in the league. And coming from a Cowboys fan who has suffered about five starters are injured right now. A couple of them out for like 6+ weeks. Of course, Blake Jarwin, torn ACL, out for the season. But this is sad. This is really sad to see. And this really just proves how badly a team needs preseason. Because I've never seen this happen. Because we've never not had a preseason.
They thought everything would work perfectly, but it definitely didn't.
Some teams are uncoordinated. Some teams are just losing players left and right. And it really is sad. So pray for a speedy recovery to all of those guys, especially the ones who tore their ACLs. It really does suck to see Saquon go down. I really hope he does not. Because Dalvin Cook started off like that and then had I'm pretty sure almost, but a really good season last year, almost a fully healthy season last year. But hopefully, I really hope Barkley doesn't go down that road. But let's get into this past week's games. Start with Bengals Browns 30-35. Pretty damn good game. Burrow looked really good. Same with Burrow versus Mayfield looked like Brady versus Manning. Like they were playing out of their minds. OBJ finally had a good week. Both Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb put up 20+ fantasy points. I mean, it was a really good game. Although I did see that the Browns tight end, who I believe was the person who caught Joe Burrow's first passing touchdown, also was going to be out for the year. So,
and I will say that I'm happy that running back duo is seeming like they're going to get it done together. I was thinking that Kareem Hunt was going to steal Nick Chubb's value like crazy since he's back healthy the whole year, but I'm glad to see that they can work together and get some touchdowns.
It really is good. And the Browns defense are a defense to mess around with. Like they can get it done sometimes. Our 1 o'clock slotted game, we'll get to that at the end of it. Let's go to Baltimore and Houston, 33-16. I knew this was going to be. I didn't think it was going to be a blowout, and it wasn't. Yeah, it was a blowout. It was a over 15+ point game. Baltimore just ran away with it like I thought they did. Deshaun Watson didn't really get many chances to play great. I didn't look at the sack numbers, but I'm sure they're high. But yeah, poor performance from Houston. How do you see Houston's season shaping out?
It's not looking good for them right now. They just don't have the weapons on offense, I feel like.
Yeah.
David Johnson is their main guy, and that can't be your main guy. He's
and Will Fuller is looking good right now, and I will say that he is looking good right now, but he is injury prone. Randall Cobb is about the only guy up there that isn't injury prone, and he's like their wide receiver 4. Kenny Stills, injury prone. Brandon Cooks, super injury prone. If all of those guys were healthy, not even in their prime, but if Brandon Cooks stays healthy, he can get it done. I think they need to go to Cobb more if they want to see more success, because Cobb played great for us last year. He almost had 1,000 yards receiving with us last year. So, I don't see Houston really shaping out all that great this season. Chiefs Chargers, Justin Herbert, great debut. Great debut for Justin Herbert. He looked great. He looked amazing. The only guy we got to see a debut out of now is Tua. We got to see how he shapes out. I think they need to start Tua soon. I don't like Fitzmagic, even though I'm pretty sure he didn't have that bad of a game this week. They need to start Tua soon. But, of course, you can't beat Mahomes. But they held Mahomes to 23 points. They took him into overtime. That is a damn good achievement for the Chargers defense, and to be able to fight that long. Herbert, of course, didn't get a chance. I don't think he got a chance to see the field. Or maybe no. I think they started off with the ball, and then Chiefs ran down the field and kicked it. But either way, great game from Justin Herbert. I hope that kid keeps it up. And then Sunday Night Football, Seattle Pats. Honestly, would probably be the best game of the week if it wasn't for a certain game. Seattle Seattle played their hearts out. Same with the Pats. I didn't think the Pats were going to be able to keep up like this, but Cam is looking prime. Cam is looking prime. Uh, for once, it's fun to watch the Pats, to be honest. It really is fun to watch the Pats just because of Cam. Cam off the field, his antics can be a little bit up there, but when it comes to on the field, Cam is fun as hell to watch. Way more fun than Brady.
He brings a new element to the Patriots. Like,
no
he's
doubt.
just a great guy to watch.
But they couldn't get it done. Of course, got stopped on the 1 yard line, which Seattle was lucky that it didn't happen to them again. But Pats ended up falling through. Couldn't get it done, but still a great game from them. Their season's looking a lot more promising. New Orleans, Las Vegas, big upset over there. Las Vegas Raiders home opener. They beat the Saints. Not only that, but they beat them by 10. Now, once again, it was 34-24. New Orleans, they didn't do bad. I mean, they didn't do great. Breeze looked horrible, but Alvin Kamara looked terrific. Alvin Kamara went off. What did he have, like 38 fantasy points?
I think he had at least 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, he had like 38 fantasy points last night. Alvin Kamara went insane. But it really was an upset. The fact that the Raiders were managing to get it done without Josh Jacobs not really getting all that. I mean, he got a touchdown. I'm pretty sure Jacobs got a touchdown, but I mean, he didn't really get all that.
Talk about Waller. Waller did amazing. He carried that offense all night. He had like 12 catches, I think. That dude was amazing last night.
Waller did great. And then, of course, let's get into a potential game, definitely, game of the year. We thought it was going to be the best 1 o'clock game, and it was probably the best 1 o'clock game of the whole fucking season. Falcons versus Dallas. Falcons go up 20-0 in the first quarter. Let's read this box score. First quarter, Atlanta 20-0. Second quarter, Atlanta 9-10. Third quarter, 0 Atlanta, 14 Dallas. Fourth quarter, 10-16, Dallas won. Of course, the watermelon kick, some people are calling it, the onside kick was absolutely, I was jumping out of my fucking seat. I didn't think we would be able to do it. I thought when we went for the 2-point conversion at the time, it was crazy, but we managed to get it done. Greg the leg was clutch. But yeah, what are your thoughts on this game? I know you weren't able to watch it, but what are your thoughts on this game?
I'm just finally glad that my Cowboys prediction finally worked out.
I'm glad. I am.
Yeah. What a game, dude!
It was such a good game.
It was a very good game. Like,
such a good game.
I don't know what the Falcons were doing on the onside kick, but I mean, the winner's a winner. You can't take it away from them.
And keep this in mind: the Cowboys, and I made a mistake. It wasn't -5 starters, -7 starters this game. They had 7 starters out on injury, and they managed to they fumbled the ball 4 times in the first quarter, which is never a bright side. That is the worst possible thing you can do. 4 fumbles. And I mean, we pretty much can't say Atlanta played great in the first quarter. I think the fumbles were lucky. I mean, you can say what you want, but fumbles are pretty much mainly based out of luck, especially Dalton Schultz, who, by the way, minus the fumble because he got cracked when he fumbled the ball. Dalton Schultz led the team in receptions, 88 receiving yards, and a touchdown. Kid had a great game and stepped up for Blake Jarwin. CeeDee Lamb had his first 100-yard receiving game of his career, 106. Amari Cooper right behind him with 100. They both got 6 receptions. Offense played amazing, especially Dak Prescott. Let's go through these stats. 34 for 47, completion percentage, 450 yards, 9.6 average on every play, 1 touchdown passing, 3 rushing touchdowns. First player in NFL history to have 400+ passing yards and 3 rushing touchdowns. He had a QBR of 85, and he had a passer rating of 109.4. All of that together, especially with the 18 rushing yards. Zeke, I mean, of course, he fumbled, but he didn't have that bad of a game. He got into the end zone. All of those stats put together is going to make me give Dak Prescott the offensive player of the week. He had the best performance of his career. To come back like he did, to put up those stats, and by the way, not 1 interception was thrown. You think he would have been airing it out and would have caused error, but he didn't. He didn't throw a single interception. Now, granted, he fumbled the ball. That is a downside, but still, he threw no interceptions. He hasn't thrown an interception yet in the past 2 weeks. He's looked very good. He's been able to get the ball out of his hands a lot better than I've seen him. Maybe Andy Dalton is teaching him a few things. And Andy Dalton played his first snap as a Cowboy. I didn't think I'd be saying that in week 2, but just because Dak was out for one play because they were checking to see if he had a concussion. Dak played amazing. And even then, even though Matt Ryan lost the game, Matt Ryan played pretty good too. I mean, 273 passing yards, 4 passing touchdowns. I mean, he had a way higher passer rating than Dak did, 126.3. Matt Ryan and himself had a great game. Todd Gurley, 21 carries, 61 yards, didn't really get it done. And then Julio just disappeared. I guess it's because of injury, but it really was such a fun game to watch, honestly. I hope the only game I see beating this out is the game that's coming up for Monday Night Football this week, Baltimore versus Chiefs. But since I went ahead and revealed my offensive player of the week, why don't you get into yours?
I'm obviously going with the same guy that you picked. 450 yards and 3 rushing touchdowns. That's just amazing. That's just unheard of. I'm going with Dak Prescott.
No doubt.
Great week.
Defensive player of the year. There were some good defensive performances. I considered putting Marlon Humphrey up here because he did put up a good stat line, but Arizona, they dominated against the Washington football team, and their top defensive player was Devondre Campbell. I had never heard of this guy in my life, but listen to these stats: 10 total tackles, 8 solo tackles, 2 tackles for a loss, and 2 pass deflections. And I think he's like a defensive end. So I mean, he had a great game, and obviously, I feel like the Cardinals defense played really good. Out of all the performances come together, I feel like Devondre Campbell takes the cake here.
My defensive player of the week, I'm going with this unheard of guy. His name is James Bradbury from the Giants. He was on Allen Robinson this week. He held him to 33 yards, and he got an interception along with 4 tackles.
Yeah, Allen Robinson was seen as
Allen Robinson
was seen as one of the biggest starts in fantasy football this week because that Giants secondary was ass, and he locked him down.
Absolutely. 3 receptions, 33 yards. That's great.
Obviously, a big honorable mention for offensive player of the week, Aaron Jones. Phenomenal game.
Yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal game. 45 fantasy points. And same thing going with Kamara, 38 fantasy points. But obviously with Dak doing what he did with the touchdowns, not turning the ball over except for the fumble in the first quarter, but not throwing in any interceptions and just a comeback alone, you can't help but not give it to him. And before we get into our starts and sits for week 3, let's get into our hits and misses. Over on my side, my hits were Diggs and Browns. I said Buffalo was going to do good this week, and even though and I will give them some slack, Byron Jones did go out, but both Stephon Diggs and John Brown had great games. Diggs had a really, really good game. At kicker, I mean, it's pretty hard to hit on a kicker, but Harrison Butker, of course, game-winning field goal, just had a good game. My hits, though, of course, if you think a guy's a bust, if you predicted the guy to be a bust, that's also technically a hit. So Malcolm Brown, I knew he was going to be a bust, and he was a bust. The Lions defense, absolute bust. And Henry Ruggs, I don't know what they're going to do with him. I thought Henry Ruggs was going to be able to take the reins now, but I don't know if they're limiting his snaps. But I didn't have I had more misses than hits this week. What about you?
Yeah, I hope you guys didn't listen to me in fantasy last week because I had a lot of misses. I had my quarterback hit. I picked Dak. I mean, I'm changing up this week, guys. I know I picked obvious choices last week. I didn't really know what I was doing. So that hit. I also had Kelsey hit, which is obvious. Everything else on offense, it missed. I mean, Henry did terrible. I predicted him to have a great week. Julio did terrible. I thought he would do great in that shootout. My kicker, I mean, he did decent. Jason Myers, whatever.
I mean,
honestly, the Bills got crushed by the Dolphins, so that missed for both of us.
And honestly, I want to give a big old props to Trayvon Diggs. He was the starting cornerback. That's his first start. That's his first start at being cornerback 1. Anthony Brown was out on he's on IR right now, and Trayvon Diggs was the guy to step up, and he clamped Julio. He clamped him. He really did. He played great coverage. Stephon Diggs, of course, if you can't make the connection, Stephon is Trayvon's brother. Trayvon played good. Trayvon really did play good against Julio. My misses of the week, Todd Gurley, like I said, 21 carries, 601 yards, no touchdowns. They couldn't get the rushing game going. Austin Hooper, I thought he was primed to have a good week. Bengals, they gave up a good, a meh amount of fantasy points to Hunter Henry, but I thought Hooper was going to be used more, but obviously not. Bills defense as well did not hit as I thought it was going to. Atkins though for the Houston Texans, I said he was going to miss. I thought it was a bust last week, and he actually got into the end zone. So yeah, I can't really say because he put up I think like 12 or 14 points as a tight end, which is actually a hit. I'll take 14 points every week from a tight end. And then Kaimi Fairbairn, I thought he was going to have a bad week. He put up 10 at the kicker position against the Ravens. And then Derek Carr, I thought he was going to have one of the worst weeks of the season because he was playing against a very elite defense. And Derek Carr played amazing. He played terrific last night. But yeah, hopefully we won't hopefully we won't miss as much as we do. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get into our startums and situms. Let's go ahead. I'm going to start off with my stud. If you got this guy and you are considering maybe sitting him, maybe putting him in the slot or whatever, don't. Because this guy's going to rack up a lot of points for you. Austin Eckler for the LA Chargers plays Carolina. And if you don't know about Carolina's rush defense, get in the know. Josh Jacobs, 35 against him. Leonard Fournette had a great game, 27. And Ronald Jones, their backup, still put up 10 against them. That's not good. And that is really priming Eckler to not only be the receiving threat that he always is, but I think he had like 90-plus rushing yards last week against the Chiefs defense that I think is really good. So, yeah, Eckler definitely in prime to have a great week.
You want me to get into my start of the week?
Go ahead and get your stud.
I'm going with Kyler Murray. He plays the who does he play? The Giants? I think he plays the Giants. Let me see. He plays a bum team, I know that, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna go off. That's my start of the week. He's definitely putting up. I think he's putting up at least 30. Let me see who the Cardinals play this week. And the only problem I have with Eckler, dude, is Joshua Kelly is getting the goal line targets. I mean, the goal line.
Yeah,
carries.
but I mean
that takes away from his value.
Yeah, but still, like I said, backup running back for Tampa, Ronald Jones put up 10. Fournette put up 27. I mean, yeah, it's not the similar
they
situation.
Play the Lions.
But still.
Yeah, they play the Lions, who gave up a lot to Rodgers. I think Kyler's having a great week.
Yeah, he's primed to be a stud too. Let's start off with the stardom for QB this week. I got Cam Newton. He has been playing out of his mind. And this Raiders defense put up a good fight against Drew Brees. I think Drew Brees just had a bad game. I don't feel like they'll be able to stop Cam Newton because Drew Brees can't run. Cam can. I feel like Cam Newton's going to have a great week. And then at my situm, if you got this guy in your lineup and he's pretty much the only reliable guy, you gotta sit him this week. Matt Stafford versus Arizona. So yeah, who do you got at your startums and situms for QB?
I have Phillip Rivers going against the Jets for the Colts. He's gonna have a good game, dude. The Jets, they've been terrible on defense this year, and it showed the past people that have played them. I mean, you saw what Raheem Mostert did. He had that like 70-yard run against him, right? 80-yard run. Yeah, I think that this Colts offense is gonna do well. Jets really don't have the best pass rush. Colts have a great O-line. I think Phillip Rivers is gonna have a ton of time in the pocket.
The Colts defense played terrific against Minnesota, and I saw some people saying that Kirk Cousins could have had a good week this week. Guess what? He put up -1 fantasy points this week. You fucking bum.
I feel bad if you started him. That's just terrible.
Bum. Absolute bum. And what about Situm?
For my situm at quarterback, I have Carson Wentz, dude. I have him on my fantasy team personally, and I just don't see him. I don't see him getting it done, man. He's so inconsistent that I'm thinking about getting rid of him. I mean, he's injury prone. I think everyone should just stay away. He's playing the Steelers. Amazing defense.
Unless you have Miles Sanders on your team, which he seems to be the only guy who's producing for Philadelphia because he put up 20. But if you got anybody at Philadelphia, get them off your team because it is a dumpster fire over there. But at halfback, my start of the week. If you bench this guy this week, you took a big L, and I feel like he's going to play good this week once again. I got Leonard Fournette for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They play against Denver. Denver gave up, I believe, 116 yards to Derrick Henry. Now, granted, that was on like 32 carries, but still, they gave up over 100 rushing yards to Derrick Henry. And I feel like Fournette is going to be able to get into the end zone. Denver, they're banged up right now on offense. And, of course, Von Miller is not there. So that really does take away a lot from their defense. And then at sit-em this week, David Johnson had a really good week one, did not have a good week last week. And I don't expect that out of the Pittsburgh Steelers. They have arguably the best defense in the league, especially when it comes to rushing. They completely, now granted, it was a horrible O-line, but once again, Texans do have a pretty bad O-line. They completely clamped Saquon Barkley the 1 week he was healthy. But yeah, if you got if you're relying on David Johnson, get him out your lineup.
Okay, I'm gonna say this first. Excuse me for that quarterback. Carson Wentz actually playing the Bengals this week, but I'm still sitting him. It doesn't really matter. He's playing the Steelers next week. Sit him in that one too. Bengals have a good secondary. I'm just gonna say that I messed up on that. My bad, guys. For my running back start this week is Jonathan Taylor, another Colts guy. I mean, we saw what Raheem Mostert did.
He had a great week last week. He had a great week.
Yeah, Taylor did good last week. He's rush defenses right now. I think Taylor's having a great week. And my sit, I'm agreeing with you. I have my guy, David Johnson, sitting this week versus the Steelers. I think it's just stupid to play any running back versus Steelers.
It really is at this point, unless it's a guy like Zeke or Kamara. But even then, I don't think so. They're pretty much clamping every running back in the league. At wide receiver, I got Hollywood Brown against the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City. They gave up a lot of volume to Justin Herbert. He managed to get it done when it came to the red zone. He aired it out a little bit. Keenan Allen, he didn't have that bad of a game. But yeah, Hollywood Brown, I feel like is gonna burn them over the top. I can't really think of any good cornerbacks. I mean, they had, I think it was Kendall Fuller, who's now on the football team, which by the way, he also got injured. But I don't know if they have any really, really good cornerbacks over there at Kansas City. Their safeties are good, but I feel like Hollywood Brown is primed to have a good. I feel like he's going to be good this week. And then sit-em. Robert Woods is going up against one of the best, arguably. You can argue it, but it's not. But Tre'Davious White is going to be locking up Robert Woods this week. So if you got him in your lineup, sorry, you got to sit him. I feel like Cooper Kupp, he runs out of the slot a lot more. If you have Cooper Kupp, start him. Even then, even though Miami managed to score a lot, Buffalo's the type of defense that they might give a lot of points up to one team, and the next team, they'll completely clamp them up. So if there's any team to find the weakness to the Rams right now, because the Rams are playing really good. They did start off really well, but then again, they played the Eagles and a disorganized Cowboys team. But yeah, if there's anyone to expose the Rams here, it's got to be Tre'Davious White and more broadly the Buffalo defense.
All right, with my wide receiver start of the week, I'm going with Allen Robinson again. I know it's hard to trust him after the terrible 2 weeks, but he's playing the Falcons. We saw what's been happening with the Falcons. It's been shootouts. They don't have that good of a secondary. They have a great offense. I think Allen Robinson's going to be on the field a lot. There's not really too many great secondary players on that team. I think Allen Robinson's finally going to break out and impress his fantasy.
I mean, hopefully he does. And if he doesn't, then Anthony Miller, if you need a wide receiver to stream, if you're in a larger league, Anthony Miller is a guy that I've been seeing. He got some volume. He's been getting some volume in the first couple of weeks. And it seems like Trubisky's starting to like him as a talent. Trubisky hasn't been playing. He hasn't been playing great. He threw 2 interceptions last game, but still, he hasn't been playing like usual Trubisky. He's been playing good for Trubisky terms. So, yeah. And then you sit him.
Okay, I have Robert Woods / Cooper Kupp. It depends on really who Trey White's guarding. I think you sit both of them this week, honestly. That's a tough defense to play against.
Yeah, no doubt.
I'm sitting both those receivers.
At tight end, I got Tyler Higbee. He put up a career game yesterday. I think he had like 3 touchdowns, 3 or 2 receiving touchdowns. He had a great game. And I feel like even though he's starting to become a must start, I really wouldn't consider him that because he only put up 7 against Dallas, which really isn't that good of a tight end defense because they gave up a lot of points to Hayden Hurst. But yeah, Tyler Higbee, I feel like he is a must start this week, especially if you have him. Carolina, they do not have a good defense at all. I can't think of any linebackers since they've lost Luke Kuechly. I can't think of anybody back there who can even come close to covering Tyler Higbee. And then at sit-em, Evan Ingram, he goes up against San Francisco. Evan Ingram seems to be the only Giant that is healthy, to be honest, when it comes to weapons. Even though Golden Tate just came back, I'll give them that. But even though the 49ers are really, really banged up right now, I don't know if you knew this, but I think Richard Sherman is also on IR as well as Deebo Samuel. So the only guy out there that I feel like is really going to be carrying them is Fred Warner, which he's a great coverage linebacker, and I feel like he's going to be clamping Evan Ingram, no doubt. What are your starters and sitters for tight end? I don't know why my thing said Carolina. I don't know why it said Carolina, but actually, yeah, Hunter Henry, obvious start. I don't know why it said.
Yeah, I'm starting Hunter Henry versus the Cardinals. I think Brett meant to do that. We'll just bypass
Carolina.
that. Yeah. Actually, my sit of the week is gonna be Tyler Higbee. Even though he had a bad first week, had a great second week, inconsistent, playing a great defense.
Well,
I'm sitting him this week.
I don't know if I would start Higbee. I mean, I don't know if I would sit Higbee. He's not my start of the week, but Mike Gesicki, I don't know if you knew this, but he got 13 targets and like 123 receiving yards and a receiving touchdown against that Bills defense. He played amazing. He put up a lot of good numbers. So, yeah, I don't know if Higbee's going to be doing that, but he's definitely not a must sit or the sit of the week or whatever.
Yeah, I understand.
And then kicker,
Kicker and defense.
Kicker, Zane Gonzalez. I got him on my fantasy team. He put up 12 last week, and I feel like he'll be good. Kaimi Fairbairn. I don't trust Kaimi Fairbairn. I never have, and I never will. He put up 10 last week. Give him that. He put up 10 against Baltimore. But I don't like Kaimi at all. I have never liked him.
I'm going with Butker as my start versus the Ravens. I think the Ravens have a great red zone defense. They're going to be stopping the Chiefs a little bit, and I think he'll have some field goal opportunities definitely late in that game.
Yeah.
And my sit is Nick Folk of the Patriots. I mean, this guy lost us the game basically. If he makes that field goal that before halftime, we win that game because we kick a field goal at the end and win the game 36-35.
Yeah.
He misses a crucial field goal for the Pats. I mean, I'm just mad at him.
What does
That's
that feel like? Missing a crucial field goal. What does that feel like? Anyways, defense and special teams for my start of the week. I got the Indianapolis Colts. They came out playing a great game against Minnesota, and I feel like they're going to play great this week. And then Chiefs did not play good against the Chargers. They did not at all. I think they have like 3-4 points this week, and now they're playing one of the best offenses in the league against, mainly specifically Lamar Jackson. They're playing against Lamar Jackson. Don't expect much. Probably expect negative out of the Chiefs unless they manage to get a turnover. Then take that back, but I don't feel like Chiefs are going to be a good start this week. What about you?
My start is the Cardinals playing against the Lions. I think the Cardinals are about to I think they're going to kill them. Lions haven't been showing off too much lately. And my sit's the Bears.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They're playing the Falcons, who have just been tearing it up on offense lately. I think the Bears are going to get torched.
Let's get into our games of the weeks before we wrap it up here. Miami versus Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville's going to upset here. Jacksonville has been playing great. Miami, they haven't been playing too bad, but Jacksonville has been playing at way better than I thought they were going to. Gardner Minshew was looking great. I don't know if Chark's been playing great though. But yeah, I feel like Jacksonville can pull out the upset here. What about you?
I'll take Miami in that one. I think Miami might pick it up. I mean, they haven't played bad in their first 2 weeks. They've just been playing bad. So if they play a team on their level, I think they'll step up.
Yeah, no doubt. And then Bills, Rams. I got the Bills winning that one. Same thing with what I think about Jacksonville. Rams have been playing great, but Bills, Josh Allen has been going insane. Josh Allen has been playing great. He is looking way more accurate when it comes to the deep ball, and he had an insane run last week. So yeah, Bills I feel like are going to be the ones to win this game. And then Cowboys, Seattle. I don't know, and I'm not just doing it because I'm a Cowboys fan. Just we had Sunday Night Football the first week. We had the best matchup in the 1:00 games, and now Cowboys Seattle. It does seem like it could be a good game. Do I feel like Jamal Adams is going to eat us up? Yeah, but Matt Ryan managed to put up a good, not a good performance, but he managed to air it out and get some points scored on them. Julio had a great game against them, and I feel like Cowboys probably have a better chance than the Falcons, but I don't see Cowboys winning this. Seattle definitely got this in the bag. I feel like Russell Wilson has been playing crazy. I can't believe he managed to put up that many passing yards. He's just been played that great against probably the best secondary in the league. But yeah, Seattle's definitely taking this one. Definitely,
I'll take
especially because
Seattle.
it's at home. But 1-2, I'm fine with that. I really am fine with that because it's just week 3. Packers, Saints. I feel like Saints bounce back here. Aaron Jones just had a great game, but I mean, even though Josh Jacobs managed to get into the end zone, he still only put up like 10 fantasy points. So when it comes to that, you kind of factor that in. Saints probably end up winning this one.
Yeah, I'll take the Saints in that one too. I think the Saints just had an off game. Is Michael Thomas going to be back next week?
No, I think Michael Thomas is out for like maybe a couple more weeks, I think. They said he was out for several weeks, so it was like a 4 to 6.
He's definitely a key in that offense, so they're probably going to struggle a little bit until he comes back.
Which they have been saying he's looking good in practice and looking like he says he feels good and that he's ready to play. But probably the Saints are probably like, no, you stay back.
Yeah.
Our team's good enough. We can win games, even though we just lost to the Raiders. You make sure you get healthy because once he's 100% back, that Saints team is going to be in full effect. Yeah. And then if it isn't Falcons Cowboys, it's got to be this game for Game of the Year. Chiefs Ravens Monday Night Football. I don't know what it is about Chiefs. I think the Chiefs Rams game that was incredibly high scoring was a Monday Night Football game during Mahomes' MVP season. But I got the Ravens winning this one. The Ravens have a better defense. The Chiefs offense is insane, but they only put up 23 against the Chargers. And the Ravens have a substantially better defense than the Chargers, in my opinion. So Tyreek Hill, I feel like, is going to be available because he's going to have Marcus Peters on him. They're going to have to run. They're going to have to be running guys out of the slot to get production. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he is a good running back, so he could play good against the Ravens. I mean, flashback to last week when Chubb had that insane game against the Raiders. He had that long run and then a lot of touchdowns. So anything is really possible. But I got Ravens winning this one against the Chiefs.
This is tough, but dude, I'm gonna have to take the Ravens too. Chiefs, they didn't do that well last week, and I think they're gonna do great. I think they're gonna do great this week.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it really is gonna be a fight all the way up until the end, unless the Chiefs fumble the bag in like the first quarter, which you can't even say that now because we literally fumbled every drive in the first quarter, and we still came back. But that's the Falcons. They're choke artists at this point. But yeah, that is it for this week's podcast. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully we don't have to give a 15-minute long injury report next week. I really hope we don't have to see any more of that. But maybe we'll start.
Please subscribe. Get us to 50 subscribers.
We're almost to 50 subs.
We're almost there.
And make sure to check out all of our other videos. Leave a like if you like the video. Maybe we'll start including waiver wire pickups next week. Who knows? But yeah, definitely stay tuned for next week. We got some really good games coming up. Also, maybe we could see where Mike D'Antoni goes because we literally just found out that Billy Donovan is on the Chicago Bulls. So yeah, hopefully there'll be a lot of news, a lot of good games, a lot of stuff to talk about. Good luck on your fantasy matchups this week. Hopefully we help you out. And as always, thank you for watching. Peace.